Okay, we should be on.
All right, Raymond, you are live and ready to go.
Right, ready to go, streaming.
Awesome. Teamwork makes the dream work. Thank you so much, you guys. But quick question, which page is it streaming from?
On the floor. Can you hear us, Raymond?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you both so much for that. We are ready to go. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight, whether you are here virtually or you came to Bajo el Sol in person. My name is Raymond Phillips. I'm going to be your host this evening for Rhyme and Line. One moment. As you can see, I am streaming from my apartment over in St. Thomas, and unfortunately, I live right by Raccoon Hill. So we also get an appearance from the trucks that pass through Raccoon Hill this evening. We have a very full audience tonight. So thank you all for being here. It appears that majority of our performers this evening are going to be virtual. Do we have any volunteers? Because otherwise I can get us started. No takers, no worries. So I have no problem starting off with a poem I wrote during the summer, I believe. It's called The Price Paid. How much does your art cost? Is it worth its weight in gold and heartbreak? I'm so accustomed to paying pain for poetry, my sorrow for soliloquies, and my worries for words from the soul. The toll my art takes on my heart is steep, but when my pain runs deep, I consider the cost of making it stop. In each word I write drops the weight in my heart, so the price no longer registers and the pain ceases to sting. Thank you.
Beautiful. I love that one.
Thank you. Jamaica, will you be sharing any poetry with us, or are you just here for the vibes?
I do actually have to go, so I wanted to just touch base, and then I have to head out. Yeah, so I would love to just share. I wrote a couple haiku poems, which I haven't written in years and years. So I just have maybe 3 to share. Good evening, everyone, and fellow poets. Thanks for being here, and our audience watching live. It's cool to be here just as a poet this evening. Okay, so I feel like now I'm cheating with haikus, but it seems like the only thing I have time for with the 2 kids running around. So I have 3. This one, the first one is entitled Kiawe Thorns. There's a tree here in Hawaii, which is called the Kiawe tree, and it drops thorns. So this is a little haiku on that. Curse Kiawe thorns, piercing through shoes and bike tires, making my life hell. That's the first one. The second one is entitled Red Bird. Red bird in white tree, reminds me of lipstick stain on your linen shirt. And the third one is entitled Okra. Yellow flower blooms. Okra will be growing soon after flower dies. And that's it.
Thank you, Jamaica. And I think you saw yourself short. Yeah, I don't think that a haiku is cheating necessarily. You know, it's a very valid form of expression. And I think the most important thing is that your work takes us on a journey. And regardless of the length, I think that all three of your poems told a very interesting story and took us on a journey. And thank you so much for sharing them with us.
Thank you, Raven. Thanks for hosting, and you all have a wonderful evening, and I'll be watching the video later.
You stay safe and happy.
Bye.
Yeah. All righty. Thomas or Majestik, would either of you like to go next?
Majestik, what do you think? Are you ready?
I am not ready. You can go
All right.
ahead.
I'll go ahead then, Majestik. Some of you will remember, this is actually I have one poem, but it's longer than what I usually read at these. First, I want to thank you, Raven, for rising to the occasion and taking over this series, and to David and Priscilla for continuing to host the series. It's been really good during this pandemic up here in northern Michigan to be able to tune in to the Lesser Antilles and see people who are actually trying to get cool rather than to get warm. So I'm grateful for that and for this Zoom connection. I expect to be in the islands for 3 weeks in January and February, and I look forward to seeing some of you. This is a poem. It's called Ekphraxis, which is Ekphraxis is a form of poetry that's written about a visual image, a painting or an object of art. And this is a poem about a poem that I wrote about a photo of my assistant Corrine when she saved the basil last year from the first frost in Michigan. And she was holding the basil fronds and considering what she would eventually make of them. She eventually made pesto. But I wrote a poem that day, and it was the last poem to get in this book, which had the bad luck of being published in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, it doesn't matter because a book published in ordinary times doesn't sell too many copies. But anyway, that poem called Corrine Among the Fronds of Basil got read at a festival, a virtual festival in Colombia, translated into Spanish, and made its way to a Spanish publisher who now wants to publish a book of poems and my essays. And it turned out to be a very good poem to get translated. So anyway, this poem is called Ekphraxis, and it's about that experience of taking a picture and writing a poem, and one thing leads to another. Ekphraxis. I took this photo of Corrine last year and wrote a poem later the same day, which was the day she saved the basil in my garden from the frost she heard was nigh. Her standing in my kitchen holding those greens, the beauty of her being, that look of longing, put me in mind of William Holman Hunt's old painting of John Keats's poem of Isabella and the pot of basil, inside of which the head of Lorenzo, her murdered lover, was hidden from view. So we keep ogling Isabella, her languor and pining, her ample bosom, who has the face of Hunt's departed wife, who died in childbirth some months before he finished the canvas. It's an old story, refashioned by Keats from Boccaccio, the way all poets borrow, great ones steal, according to T.S. Eliot, the thief. Or was it Picasso, God only knows the way one image leads to another, the snapshot, the sudden spark, the seeing that brings something separate into being, the seedling becoming something the seed could never itself have quite imagined, connecting the bits of one creation to bits and pieces of another, the rooting, ramifying urgency that pushes the new thing into the light. The poem that I made that day became one of many in a book of poems called Bone Rosary, a connection of beads by which we keep track of being and ceasing to be, those living mysteries in light of which all we do is sit in silence. My daughter used to call me El Jefe when she was working at the funeral home before that saddened panic rose in her they called paranoid schizophrenia. It kept her separate from us 15 years before she took her leap from off the bridge in Marin County, California. My friend Joan painted a portrait of her. I hung it on the bedroom wall upstairs. We gather what we can of brokenness into a place where we might reframe it as restoration of a sort of wholeness in the horrid face of desolation. But back to the photo and the poem. Ekphrasis with a side of illusion, the senses and the imagination free-ranging in the way they take their cues from life's long study and experience. A Colombian poet named Tallulah Flores, which I Englished as Tallulah Flowers, a plural noun or verb, it's hard to know. She asked, would I read some of my poems for their festival, Poema Rio, featuring poets of the Caribbean. Except for stays in the Lesser Antilles, Cancun and Casa de Campo once, I couldn't figure out why she'd asked me, but chose some poems to do with flowers, with gardening and growing things, with all Montbretia and rhododendrons. So Corinne among the fronds of basil became Corinne entre las joyas de la Oaxaca. And when a visiting theologian read the Spanish version of the poem, for she in fact had worked the Caribbean in service of her church, the Anglicans, all the versions of it were connected. The sound, the sense, the sight of timely harvest, the women in my kitchen and my poems, the beauty of their being and their gifts whereby the broken heart is nonetheless still beating out its possibilities. A romance involving flowers, their meaning, trees of knowledge of good and evil, Romeo, Juliet, Flores and Bellflower, Adam and Eve. I'm living in a Leonard Cohen tune involving a woman and a river, a distant country and the theater, something on canvas, cast in bronze or song by which mammals discern the ways of other mammals. Let us grant that it involves an island, a bridge, a ferry, a water crossing, an open grave, an empty sky, the sun, the moon, the loving body, and ourselves alone. Sometimes the pool of sorrow overflows. Sometimes the shit that happens overwhelms. And still the unanticipated gift appears, that sweet beneficence beyond imagination. There it is. The moonlight in the bedroom window gives a glimpse of her, naked and unabashed, and turning into your embrace with ease as if she came to reckon with your pain. The long years of damage and estrangement, the thankless, luckless, sorry circumstance of being you, yourself, in the sore world. And these are surplus to requirements, an abundance much like grace itself, unearned and undeserved, much the same as favor of creation for what's been made, the fervor of lovers at their lovemaking, the beauty of being in the realm of light, the quiet mystery, the endless night. That's as far as I've gotten with it, so.
Thank you for that, Thomas. I think that what you had was very wonderful, and I hope to get get my hands on one of the copies of your books.
Okay.
And do you have an idea of when in January you'll be here?
I'll be on St. John's from the 22nd January until I think the 16th of February. So I think I might be there for the January Rhyme and Lime in
Yes.
person. Yeah.
Looking at my calendar, our next Rhyme and Lime would be January 29th, 2022.
I'll
It would
plan on
be-
being there with you, Raven.
Oh, thank you. I'm looking forward to it. I really look forward to it. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thanks.
So I saw that we got a surprise guest, Starry. Are you still there? You're muted, honey.
Unmute, sorry.
Yes, I am here. Hi.
Oh, thank you so much for making it. I was hoping that you were going to be on island this month.
No, it didn't work out for me. I don't know when I'll be there, but yeah. But what's going on? Thank you. Somebody said I love the earrings. Yeah, I just bought these. I needed my yellow earrings. Sorry, I'm gonna go get them because I lose things all the time. But anyway, I do. I lose all of my earrings like every day of my life. So it's my turn. It's my turn.
Spot, I just wanted to acknowledge you, for everybody here.
Okay.
But just in case, Majestik, are you ready for us yet?
She can go.
Okay, well, I guess it is your turn, Starry.
Well, I'll unmute myself again. Okay. Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I can't see everybody, so I don't know who's here, but I am really excited. It's been a long time since I've seen everybody. So what I'll do is I will turn my TV off first. I'm going to do a short poem. Well, can I read two, or is it just one?
You can do two.
Okay. This one, both of the poems I'm going to read, I'm still working on them. But yeah, so here we go. Four blue walls wrap themselves around me for comfort, and I can feel the weight of my lack of dignity crushing me until I am microscopic, small enough to be picked up and carried by the insects crawling in the cracks in the concrete on a hot summer's day before they are crushed by some curious child or careless adult. Me, a crumb in the mouth of a black ant with broken wings who cannot seem to fly away to save its own life. Him, a large figure hovering over us, casting a shadow before making full impact. Bitch, you ain't never gonna be nothing but pregnant. You got dreams, but you ain't going nowhere. And I can feel my tears rising up in me, an army of tsunamis knocking and knocking and knocking on the backs of my iron clasp eyelids, but they will not budge. You will not hear me cry today. I have lived long enough to know that the hate in this world is a reflection of the lost war within the sender to love themselves, and the receiver is just a casualty. So no, I will not wave my white flag and surrender to a broken child wearing the shell of a man as armor, fighting me when I have done nothing to deserve this. I will retreat behind a wall of affirmations. I am worthy. I am worthy. I deserve better than this. I deserve better than this. Every day, something has tried to kill me and has failed. Every day, something has tried to kill me and has failed. Every day, something has tried to kill me and has failed. So no, I will not give up. or give in. You will not hear me cry defeat today. Okay, that's that poem that I'm still working on, everybody. Hey, oh my God, they're in the gallery. Hey. I didn't realize that everybody wasn't on the Zoom. But yeah, so that's a poem that I thought that I had finished, but I'm actually gonna go and revisit it and do some things to it. Okay, so the next poem, it is called For Every Black Girl and Black Woman. I hope that every song that comes on is your song and that you never stop dancing from your heart. I hope that you never stop smiling even with gaps or chipped teeth in your mouth. I hope that you never stop dreaming of the impossible. I hope that all of your dreams come true, and I hope that you always remember that if someone else has done it, that you can do it too. Hope that you know that if no one has done it, that you can be the first to. I hope that your laugh is so loud. I mean, really loud, like so loud that it wakes up your future self and leaves a smile on her face that screams, those were the days. I hope that you have so much peace, that joy not only comes in the morning, but stays throughout the day and night. And I really hope that you find love in the mirror in every blemish and that you hold on to it for dear life. Okay, that's that poem, everybody. It's good to see everybody.
Good Lord. Thank you so much for joining us, Starry. I needed both of those. Thank you. That was wonderful. I love them both.
Say hi to my mom, everybody.
Hi, Starry's mom. Thank you. Those were beautiful. My goodness, sorry. Your work is always so powerful. Thank you. Majestik, you got us here waiting in anticipation. You ready for us?
I'm ready now for the most
Yes.
part. It's so funny because I got thrown into like a last minute babysitting gig. So I'm multitasking, put it that way. But I'm also gonna do two pieces. Yeah. So the first one is a song by Etta James and it's called I'd Rather Go Blind. And the second one is an original poem that I wrote in like 2017-ish, somewhere around there. So yeah. Let me see. Okay. Something told me it was over when I saw you and her talking. Something deep down in my soul said, cry, girl. When I saw you and that girl walking around, ooh, I would rather go blind, boy, than to see you walk away from me, child. No. Ooh. So you see, I love you so much that I don't want to watch you leave me, baby. Most of all, I just don't want to be free, no. Ooh, ooh. I was just sitting here thinking of your kiss and your warm embrace, yeah. When the reflection in the glass that I held to my lips now, baby, revealed the tears that were on my face, yeah. Ooh, and baby, I'd rather be blind, boy, than to see you walk away from me, child. Oh, baby, I'd rather be blind, boy, than to see you walk away from me. Thank you. So that's the song. And the poem is called find love, and it's about looking at someone's spirit, like looking at what's inside versus all of the physical. Because of course you want to find love in someone that you find attractive, but it's also much deeper than that. So, man or woman, skinny or fat, anorexic or bulimic, beautiful or ugly, clean or dirty, virgin or corrupted, sweet or mean, soft or coarse, black or white, Hispanic or Asian, light skin or dark skin, fake eyelashes or real ones, tall or short, perfect body or none at all, imperfect or striving so hard to be, popular or total loser. Go find it. Be true to it. Don't cheat or beat on it. Keep strong for it. Stay long for it. Hold on for it. If it is real, if it is truly authentic, it will be unstoppable, unbreakable, uncloggable, never running out, never being afraid, everlasting. It can happen to anyone. Go looking for it if you want. You might come back with trouble. You might come back with experience. If you look inside yourself and see yourself looking back, it does not mean you found the love of your life. Don't give your heart to everyone. They won't all take care of it and share with it and bear with it. Once you find it, if you want to keep it forever, because there's no getting it back. You can't go to the store and return the feelings. The scars it gave you don't just heal up and disappear. So keep it. And that is called Find Love. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that performance, Majestik. That's actually my favorite song by Etta James. And I love your poem as well. I think there's a lot of beautiful messages to be taken from it. Thank you. So do we have anybody in person that has something that they would like to share? Otherwise, I have another poem that I can share, but I want to make sure that if there's anyone in person, they have an opportunity to.
All right. So we got one, Miss Reed. We got a couple.
Awesome.
No, that's what I made for Thanksgiving. That's not good.
Hello, my love. Thank you for coming.
And then we're gonna have to.
Oh, I gotta read it.
No.
Okay.
Well,
good.
yes.
No? How about no?
Here.
Okay. It's for the technology or it's for them? Because it's not a big
Well,
one.
for them to
Got
there.
There's people right here. I'd like. Yeah. Okay. It's not actually a poem that Alex made you write, but it is titled PSA from Your Neighborhood, a Capitalist Elder Zoomer. I only sell you things because you want me to. I don't want to sell anything. I don't like sales. Okay. So this is your warning. I won't be selling you anything very soon. Don't worry. Don't worry. We've been working on this and you've done it before. No more sales. I want something more. That's the problem.
Short and sweet, but very personal. Thank you, sis.
Okay. I'm done there. I'm like making cocktails, making sure everybody's good.
Okay, you guys can still hear me okay, right? I think I just got a little.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes.
Okay, so I just was rummaging through my sister's emails, and of course, I did not get the gift of rhyme, but my father and my sister did, and I married a poet. However, I just don't have the gift, but I love to share my family's poetry. My sister's in Egypt, and hopefully one of these days we'll get her down here to do the rhyme and line. But I found this one that I always loved because it's inspired by the Virgin Islands and for the Virgin Islands and to the Virgin Islands. And I know that my sister Catherine misses the Virgin Islands. So, hail to the Caribbean Isles as I set sail for a new horizon. I reminisce as the howling breeze and clapping waves echo from behind. A sunlit passage traces my past. Hail to the drummer's beat, the calypso salt, flavoring the conch shell's music, a soca party to my soul. Hail to the sapphire sea, the opalescent sands, the contagious seagull's song. How I miss their laughter. As I pass the emerald mountains, the dancing palms, and the fiery hibiscus, I leave behind my mama's savory roti, fungi, and cookies with coconut spice. Soon to realize, however high or far life may lead my venturous soul, I always remain an island woman with sandy skin, swaying hips, and a dancing heart. Hail to the Virgin Islands. Bye, Miss Catherine. It's my dear little sister, which I miss so much and haven't seen in 2 years now. Oh, Lord. Okay. Love you, Catherine. Anybody else? You can read? Okay, we have Mr. David Knight, the husband.
This is kind of confusing though. Do I have to like, how do I?
No, come over here. This way.
Okay. I'm gonna read off my phone. I hope that's okay. And I'll try to direct myself to Zoom and to the audience. A while ago, I submitted 3 poems to a journal, and I'm gonna read you the one that was not accepted. So I'll let you all be the judge. This one is called "The Possible Dream Leads to Another." Already, the century plants are broadcasting memory with the absurd logic of a dream. A row of public housing apartments is born from the white foam of shifting sovereigns. With each moral degradation, the curved island, elongated, chokes itself on handicrafts. You are woken by the thin, inexorable rain, its long fingernails back and forth against the windows, in multiplying circles of diaspora, a glittery woven thread. There's no sound to the watery flow of history, just shapes, blinded nations, ashes, sunstruck beds, fragmentary self-portraits of the historians themselves. See if you don't agree. The island yet remains accessible between reaction and revelation. Watch us diligently campaign about culture, even when we can't remember what the fruit is like. Ask for the who's who of our full-time residents, reputable families with rare books on duty-free timepieces. Even they know to avoid these crude implements of popular television, the tourists that scramble over vendor stalls, outsiders, but otherwise normal. The end.
Thank you, David. David, are you able to tell us which journal you submitted to, or is that you have to keep that on the DL until it comes out?
Sure, sure. Yeah, I've read a few of these at the Rhyme and Lime. These were a couple poems that were submitted to Forgotten Lands, which I believe is coming out with its next volume soon.
Thank you for sharing.
We have a poet slash comedian. Who would like to share? For those in the virtual world, Alex is one of our fellow art bar gallery Bajo el Sol fellow members here working really hard. Actually, social worker, Mr. Lynch, he'll probably make your coffee as well. He makes a mean cappuccino. I know you like your black coffee, but but here we go.
You know, this is for more of the aesthetics, more than convey the atmosphere. Yeah, let's give it up for Raymond, huh? You know, she's great. Oh my gosh. Yo, I'm so happy to be part of this thing. You know, she does so many things. You know, not only is she the host for Rhyme and Lime here, she also works for Senator Sorrow. I know she's a published journalist as well. What's up? Oh, you're trying to. Oh, you changed? My apologies there.
What's even crazier is I don't even work in the legislature anymore.
Yeah, I work in the legislature. Oh, exactly. You know, her resume is thicker than most books we sell here at Bajo el Sol. Arguably harder to read it too. So with that being said, too, you know, on that lighter note, I really have to acknowledge that it's, you know, mostly Black women that make Rhyme and Lime here at Bajo el Sol so great. Honestly, they're 5,000% phenomenal. I really think this is like a community stronghold for the expression of Black excellence. So I ask that you buckle your seats and try not to grit your teeth as a white guy complains about how mediocre he is for the next couple of minutes. So, you know, last stand-up comedy routine I had, I made a little joke about how I was unable to perform for my girlfriend. And I feel really embarrassed. I feel like I gave you guys a little bit too much of an insight into my personal life. I'm really sorry about that. So to clear up any confusion, I don't have a girlfriend. Probably because I can't make any fun. Yeah, anyone who's under 18, I'm really sorry. I was really trying to get David and Priscilla to get me to be the host for Bajo el Sol's Rhyme and Lime, but they didn't want me to because they were afraid I'd say something that'd get them in trouble. So too late. Yeah, so one of the biggest obstacles I have in terms of navigating my social identity here in VI is that like a lot of people are really willing to invalidate my Virgin Islander status. So for those of you who don't know, I was born in Philadelphia, and then I moved down here when I was 12. And I understand as a result of that, being down here in an American family, I have increased accountability to address my sort of structural complicity in colonialism here in the Virgin Islands and do active anti-racist, anti-colonial work because, you know, that's my way of giving back to the community. That's informed my values here. One thing I get really vexed about is when people, you know, say I associate with the Virgin Islands because, you know, I'm trying to overcompensate for my whiteness. I'm trying to be Black. And to that inquiry, I only have one response. So I need David to get up here for a second. Just stand up here for a second. And I'm gonna need Alex Ray to stand up here too. And to that, I say, does it look like we're trying to be fucking black? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you actually fucking kidding me right now? Yeah, David calls our aesthetic, what is it, bougie bush? Bougie bush, yeah. On top of that as well, you know, on that note, everyone is saying that ever since I started working at Bajo el Sol, I've been looking a lot more like David, I've been dressing a lot more like David. Yeah, no, literally, no, I just want you guys to know that it's not me. I'm not trying to change my aesthetic to be like David. David's trying to make me change my aesthetic to be like himself. He literally in the terms of employment, it's like you gotta wear a button-down shirt, kind of form-fitting pants, and you gotta open the shirt, like 2 buttons down to show your chin. Oh my gosh, and the amount of things that we've been called in the past couple of months just because we have this aesthetic is ridiculous, like absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, we've been called a couple things. Young Ricky Martin. That's true, actually. Robin Williams. Also true. Silvio Dante from The Sopranos, Jersey Guido, and my favorite, the non-George Michael member of Wham for David. Oh yeah, no, it's really something, isn't it? You know, as I said before, you know, I'm very tied to the St. John community here, and usually when I go out to the States, I try and sort of stay close to the community, stay close to the Caribbean community. So I'll usually come out, try and find bars, restaurants that serve Caribbean food, or Caribbean people in the diaspora try and go to. And so I want to tell you guys one of my favorite stories, one of my favorite experiences there doing that. This is actually a comedy piece that's partially taken from my best friend up in Philadelphia. His name is Nigel. He actually told this piece to a crowd, albeit a much larger crowd, up in the States, and I was part of the story, and so I can tell the story. You know, fuck plagiarism. I'm not going to get fired from this job for plagiarizing. Okay. So yeah, basically, right. It was 2018, and I noticed I was up in Philadelphia this summer where my dad lives, and I noticed that there was a Caribbean concert in Six Flags at Central New Jersey, about an hour north of where I was staying. And I begged my dad, I was like, yo, for my 21st birthday, I want a couple of tickets to this. I want to bring myself and a friend along. You know, there were a lot of really big name acts playing there. Patrice Roberts, Alkaline, Cass, Nyla Blackman, Bungie Garland, like everybody, right? And so I got him to do it. And I don't really have a lot of friends from down here up there. So I went with the next best option. That is my friend Nigel. Who is from, you know, just a 5'10", 5'11", sort of gangly, nerdy white guy from Philadelphia. And yeah, so we went out there and stuck out like a sore thumb. I don't know if you've ever been to a Caribbean concert before or anything. You know, we were like those outlying, like scraggly white guys. And so, yeah, so the song started coming on, and I cannot imagine the absolute brain aneurysm people had when they just saw these two like nerdy ass white guys, right? And one guy was just standing still, and he's just like, and I see the other guy, he's like, oh, but they gotta come on. My favorite part of the whole concert, right, was when you know, Ducky by Prada Fox came on, or even up Friday, and you know, during the hook, like everybody goes down, right? And so everybody's going down, myself included, and then like straight out of the crowd, there's one man standing up. It's my friend Nigel. So everyone's going down like this. And Nigel's just like, nuts. You know, I think that's a really good parable for, you know, how you could take the island out of the void. You can take the boy out of the island, but you can't take the island out of the boy. I'm a comedian, not a tongue twister guy. So yeah, I think I'm almost done here. I'm gonna wrap it up. I just have one more thing that I need to do, and that is recite a poem, because it is rhyme and line, as a matter of fact. And this poem is about yet another toxic relationship. This time, however, it is, I will tell you the premise before I say it. So it's about my relationship between my irritable bowel syndrome and my favorite food of all time, curry chicken. So here goes nothing. Here's the poem. I love Caribbean curry so much, I think it's a sin. But it looks the same going out as it does going in. I ate it in roti. I ate it in doubles. But then about 12 hours later, I can hear my stomach start to bubble. I scramble to the bathroom hoping I can make it in time, because shitting in public is a federal crime. But eating it with pepper sauce is so even worse, because it adds an extra dimension of hell to this gastrointestinal curse. But the taste is so good, so spicy and umami, so what do I care if it makes me go potty? Caribbean curry is chicken soup for the soul. So fuck everyone who says that I wrecked the toilet bowl. Thank you very much, everybody.
I'm not sure whether to clap, snap, or ask if you're okay.
I think we're done here. That's costing thousands of dollars in quantity.
I presume we're conservative, staunch, serious poets. We give it back too.
I just hope that when your comedy career takes off, you'll just remember us, Alex. Just promise me that. That's, and maybe lay off the curry a little bit, but so thank you for that entire performance, Alex. That was wonderful. Let's see. So I have another poem. I actually just finished writing it, maybe just before we hopped on and started the whole live. It's called, I have two actually. The first one is called A Poem About Grief. Yesterday I asked myself, how should I write about grief? Should I write how she creeps in and lays her hand upon my throat, choking my words till I can hardly speak, laugh, or eat? Should I write of how heavy she is, how I struggle and strain to carry her weight every day? Anyway, I decided that when I write of grief, I want it to be a love letter, an expression of care and admiration, an admission that I love you, my dear. And I'll tell her how she has forever changed me. And with a twist and flick and a kiss on the wrist, I want my love to cast her away so we both can be free. Thank you. And the other is called, I'm not a fan of the title. I'm probably going to change it later. I'm still working on this one. It's called Carry. Carry me, carry me, carry me. Carry like you're not struggling with 175 pounds and 20 plus years of hugs not given, of feelings not felt, of hurt hidden, of insecurity and isolation. For you on my rehabilitation, my savior, my punching bag, my warm hole and twin soul. Carry us, carry us, carry us, carry us like you're not filled with rage, needing praise, but receiving heartbreak. Carry me, carry us, carry on. Thank you. Do we have anybody else in person that has something that they'd like to share? Is that a yes? Oh,
Audience, anybody virtually?
oh, I think. Can you guys hear me still?
A virtual poet?
Okay, so I can hear you again. Thomas or Majestik, do either of you have anything else that you'd like to share this evening?
I don't have anything at the moment, Raven, and my dog is lobbying to get out, so I'm going to have to leave you. But thanks again for hosting, and I'll see you next month with the help of God.
Thank you for being here. We'll see you in January.
All righty, bye-bye.
Hopefully I can come in person in January.
Oh, I would love to have you, Majestik.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
We have Michaela, which is fluent in Chinese, and she would like to share a Chinese poem, if she may.
Ooh.
There you go. We have bathroom issues right at the moment, but it's not. Alex's fault.
春眠不觉晓，spring away， 处处问啼鸟 ，the bird the question， 夜来风雨声 ，in the dark the sound of the wind and rain， 花落知多少。As the flower petals fall, I wonder if it could be count. That's the song. It's only several hundred years.
Thank you, Michaela. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Anybody else? We're actually at the hour, so we're good. The last call for the last poet. Okay, so our next timeline, Miss Raven, of course, falls on
January 29th.
So yeah, so our next one's going to be January 29th. We do have a couple events here at Bajo el Sol coming up that are really exciting. Our first is going to be a book signing that we're really excited about with Tammy Navarro called Virgin Capital. and that's taking place on the 10th of December, which is a Saturday here. It's the second Saturday of December here at Rhyme and Lime. And then at the following Saturday, which I believe is the 17th, we're going to have our first film in a long time. It's a documentary film by a filmmaker from St. Croix, our sister island at St. Croix. The Firebomb documentary. It's a short film that's going to be here. She's also featuring the film. Angela is also going to be hosting the film on St. Thomas and St. Croix as well. The film is a short film, but we will have a panel of speakers that are going to speak a little more about the film, about the history of Fireburn. We're super excited about that. So we look forward for you guys to come. So those are our main events in December. And then we ring in the new year, and January is going to be super exciting. Again, our Rhyme and Lime sounds like we're going to have some visiting poets. So that sounds super exciting. Yeah, thank you for coming out tonight. We're kind of building back our audience from all this COVID craziness. So hopefully the new year will bring a lot of positive vibes. Maybe this COVID thing will eventually wean itself off. I don't know. I think we're just gonna have to live with it for a little longer. So, but thank you, Raymond. We're cheering you on for your all those long hours trying to get those final papers done when I was doing my graduate studies and even my undergrad. So I know the feeling. Good luck with all of that. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for another fabulous Rhyme and Lime.
Thank you so much for coming.
Sign it off.